Good morning and welcome to Alba Physiotherapy. I wanted to jump on a call this morning regarding several questions I've had this week. We've recently advertised for a veterinary physiotherapy position, and this time round we've gotten even more inquiries actually than we had even the last time round and the time before that down through the years. And it's absolutely fantastic because it's showing that the interest is definitely there. I've spoken to so many people that were really interested in learning more about veterinary physio. So I thought I'd jump on a call and chat a little bit further about what's out there. So, the amazing thing about veterinary physiotherapy is that it's actually been around for centuries, because dogs, animals, horses, and every animal of different shape and form has been part of the human world for centuries, since I think way back. And what's happened with that is they've gone from helping us with work, war, therapy, to being companion dogs or animals. We even use horses as part of therapeutic riding. There's so much out there with regards to animals. And what's come along the way along with that is that there's been physiotherapy of some sort with animals as well. But the actual emergence of veterinary physiotherapy and the academic side has really only come about in the last 25 to 30 years. So it's really evolving, and most especially in the UK. The UK is really driving it forward, as is some of the other countries as well, which is fantastic to see. But one of the clear things that I was able to, and I came across quite a lot with the calls when I was chatting to different people who were just contacting because they saw the position and realised that they would love to get involved, was that there's a huge range of choices, well, I put it that way, out there for different ways you can go about it. Now, what's important to know is that there's definitely different laws, different rules for different countries. In the States, you've got different rules for each state with regards to practicing in veterinary physiotherapy. So whether you come from, like I did, I came and I did I did sports science first, and then I did human physiotherapy, worked for a little bit with that, a couple of years with that, and then I did my master's program for veterinary physiotherapy for physios who were human trained first. There's a huge amount of advice out there, there's a huge amount of choice out there, which makes it really difficult to know what to choose. So one of the main questions I get asked in the last couple of weeks was, I'm really keen to find out a bit more about veterinary physio. I really want to know more about veterinary physio. How do I go about it? Which is the best course for me to choose? How do I even choose a course? What should I be doing? So I thought, right, chatted to some fantastic people this week in the last couple of weeks who are energetic, keen, and really passionate about working with animals, but they're stuck. And up in the Highlands in particular, they're stuck because they know that a lot of the courses are down south and they're not sure which ones to choose. And to be honest, there's so many courses coming out now every year that it can be quite difficult, even for me, to disseminate between which are great, which standard, what level do they have at. So today I thought what I'd do is I'd chat a little bit about how you choose the best veterinary physio course for you, and how do you choose which direction to go in. So this is on the presumption that you've done some research into this, you've looked into it, you've looked into working with different types of animals, and not just your own pets. I think that's probably one of the bigger things. You've got to have experience working with different realms, different types of animals in different places. Because veterinary physio is definitely a lifestyle choice as well, because they always say, isn't it, never run a business with people or animals, because it doesn't run like clockwork. Urgent cases come in, people need seen, animal needs seen, and it is a lifestyle choice. You've got to be passionate about it, and you've got to still be passionate about it 10 years, 20 years down the line if this is the course that you truly want to go into, because otherwise it can be quite a challenge and to prevent burnout. So one of the things I always say to people is, you're looking at courses, you're trying to figure out which one's best for you. Look at the content, not the title necessarily. Look at the content. The content is what you're going to be a part of for 2, 3, 4 years all the way down the line. The content is what you're going to look at 8 o'clock at night when you've come in from work and you know that you've got to sit down and do an essay on something. It's not always the content of absolute love all the time, because let's take physiology for example. If physiology is not your thing or your topic, you still have to know physiology. A good course will cover in depth the physiology of tissue healing. They might even cover physics, they'll cover biomechanics, they'll cover lots of different things that you might not even feel is 100% directly related, but it has a very relevant baseline in there. So look at the content. And I see this sometimes with my human physios choosing courses. Actually, that first year, they'll often come and ask me, why am I learning this? Like, I can kind of see where it's coming about, but surely I should be, in with patients and doing hands-on and getting to know all of that. And they do that, but got to love the content. And being keen on the content throughout is really important. So you get a really good idea, get onto the university, get onto where you're thinking of doing your course, find out the syllabus, and most of them, if not all of them, a really good course will have a really good background in the syllabus that isn't just generic. You're not just learning that you'll learn a little bit about this, that, and the other. You're actually getting a really good grasp on what happens in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And where does that take you? That's really important. The content will also give you an idea as well of how much support you're going to get. So a lot of these online courses in particular are what they say on the tin. They're online. Now, there's a bit of a disconnect then, usually I find, when it comes to physiotherapy courses, because physio, or any form of physio, is very practical. You're face to face with people. You're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with people that are worried, you're dealing with animals that are worried, you're dealing with animals that are in fear, they're in pain, you're getting feedback from hands-on, from the techniques you're using, all these kind of things. So there's quite a disconnect then between the academic side, which could be purely online, but then there's the practical element as well. So knowing how much support you're going to get when you do your practical element is huge. And I have to say, down through the years of taking students, you can definitely see the differences between different courses on the confidence people have when they're dealing with people and the confidence they have in their hands-on skills when they actually come on placement. And that's really important. So finding out how much is online, how much support is there? How much face-to-face do I meet with my colleagues, with my other peers? And how much then do I get with placement? Is there placements or is it case studies? These are all things to really consider and think about. Personally, I like courses where you will get mentored. And not just online, you get mentored face-to-face. So any of my students that come here, they're working with me all the time. There's options for more training. There's options for more face-to-face. There's options for more one-to-one time. And really, when you get stuck in, human physios are here for 5 to 6 weeks at a time. And that's so that they can really progress and follow the patient journey the whole way through and really transfer what they're learning in the academic side, then what they practice in their sort of group dynamic sort of assessments and treatments that they do on each other in college and uni, and then what they bring into the face-to-face with patients. Because when you're faced with a patient, it's a different kettle of fish. So really look into the content, delve into the syllabus. Will I be as interested in this 3 years down the line, when I've said no to every social occasion because I had to do essays and case studies and whatnot? Will I still be, really passionate? And that's sometimes hard to answer, but definitely worth considering at this point. The other thing I would say, as I said there, touched on it there a minute ago, was how's it taught? All of my courses were very practical based. So I was in uni at least 9 to 5 days a week, if not 6 days a week. I was in the labs, testing. I was in library, working with groups. And any of my veterinary physio that we had one-to-one, so we actually had placements, as well as working with groups, as well as 1 weekend a month. We were in university as well, down at the Royal Veterinary College in London. So all of these things really help when you actually go to practice. And my first job was actually part of working as part of a team where I got mentored as well. And that made a big difference rather than going straight out on your own. So how is it taught? And and one of the things I would say was because I did a lot of mine from my veterinary physiotherapy course was in London and on the outskirts of London, and I was living at north of Aberdeenshire, which if you don't know where that is, it's quite a bit up. And it was during the time when we had really, really bad winters, so I was battling snow and lots of fun stuff. But that's really important to take into consideration as well, because I was working full time in order to pay for the course. So if you're living a distance away from your course, how much resources is it going to take, both in time, effort, and sort of really getting that to merge in with the rest of your other commitments in life. If I do this course, what needs to go in order for me to manage that? So really, time management is big. It's not just passion, it's not just a love of animals that will get you there. You have to be good at organisation, time management, and really thinking about whether the course delivery, where it's taught, how it's taught, the requirements of the course will merge into your current commitments, because that's where it comes down to as well. And by the same token, how does that follow on through to your career? Okay. The third thing that I would say is, who will be your teachers? Okay, this is one of the things I'm big on as well, is look into them. They're going to be your biggest influencers. They're going to bring their flavour to your course. They're going to bring their experiences to your course. I've learned so many mistakes, so many good things, so many strong things. I've learned how to do things, how not to do things, but I've learned. And I'm constantly learning. And you definitely want to go to somebody and people who have that passion, that drive, that have a practice, that knows what it's like to start up, that knows what it's like to be part of a business and knows what it's like to be years down the line as well. Because that's important. You've got to get those people that you're working for and with, because otherwise you're not going to get the whole encompassing idea of the demands that the job is going to need when you qualify. The better prepped you are for it, the better you'll get on. And that's really important as well. So talk to them. They're going to be your biggest influencers. They're going to be your pathway, your guide, your signposting as to where you're going to find out more information. So, and where you're going to grow as a clinician. And I tell you, the first couple of years that you're out is where you've got to sponge it all up. You'll always keep learning. And if you're not, something's wrong. You'll always keep learning. So you want to sponge that up as well. Okay. And finally, I thought one of the things in particular I did get asked was about cost. Now, this is real. This is a real thing. You've got to weigh up the costs. And it's not just a monetary cost, as I touched on earlier on. It's time, it's resources, it's do I have the ability to spend and the energy to spend 4 to 5 hours studying every evening in order to get that done after a long day's work, while I get the kids ready, while I get the animals ready, while I get everything ready. That really tests your drive for this. It really tests your passion. And I've seen really good potential clinicians with huge potential who hadn't quite dealt with all of these kind of issues before they went on these courses. I've seen fantastic clinicians that have gone on courses and they're frustrated because they weren't getting the answers to the depth that they wanted to get them. And that's really difficult as well, because you've got a patient in front of you and you know you're not answering all the questions because you haven't reached all those answers yet. And that can be really frustrating. So the costs are a biggie. And be honest with these. It can be massive stumbling block that people, and even when I was during the interview process, said to me, I tried this course, but because of cost, time, and actually I didn't feel it was going in the direction I wanted to go in, I stopped. And now I don't know where to go. So that's really important. So really looking at the cost, because when you're on these courses, you want to have the ability to grab opportunities as they come. I did lots of shadowing, I did lots of volunteering, even when I was on my course, even on the human course, even with sports science. I had such a wide variety of experiences because any opportunity that came my way, I grabbed it. Any chance at working for somebody or with somebody or getting an experience or spending an extra hour in work or 2 hours in work just to see how a patient got on, that's what you're really looking for. And that's what you really want to grab, because those opportunities stand to you down the line as well. And to be able to do those, you've got to know how much resources you have and how you're going to manage these things. So it's well worth it. It's challenging, and it's one of the most exciting times in your life, because you get to learn something that you're absolutely passionate about. And you know, I'm in it over 13 years, almost 13 years now. I've lost count, and every day is a different day. Every day I'm learning something. Every day I feel passionate about it. Every day I want to come to work in the morning, and that's a gift. That really is a gift. But I've worked really hard. I stay late. If there's a patient I'm worried about, I'll look it up. I'll research. I'll pursue. I'll go above and beyond. Deliver the wow factor. Deliver a high level of, hopefully a high level of physiotherapy and treatment, both for owner and the animal. And that's because I'm truly passionate about it. And that's where you want to be. Okay, but to do that, you've got to sit down and realistically look at where you're sitting at now. What does the course provide? Will it provide you enough information? I know some people that are happy doing a hydrotherapy course, which takes 5 days, with some case studies that they do on their own. Or I know some people that wouldn't be happy with that at all. They want the in-depth. They want to go down the human field like I did and down that route. And there's I was one of those people. I want to know more, learn more. I'm passionate about it. So there's some courses that can be an equine massage course that could take 5 days with no official exam at the end. And you're delighted to be able to work on horses and come out and knowing that, you know, that's what you can do. And I know clinicians that are really happy with that. They're really happy with doing 1 weekend a month on different courses. But it's knowing how in depth do you want to go? How deep do you want to go? How much do you want to know? And how supported do you want to be on your journey? That's really important. And then you can pick your placements well. You can pick where you go well. You can talk to the people that you need to talk to and go from there. So I've done a wee blog on this, which I'll put in on the YouTube channel as well. So follow that blog, because it's got lots of more information on where to go, where to look up the journey on where I went and different organisations that might be of help. And we would, as always, love to hear from you with your questions. These were just a flavour of some of the questions that I got asked even just in the last 3 weeks, but I'll be asked again. So at least these are some ideas of some of the most common questions I'm asked. And I suppose when people ask me about what course would I recommend, this is a good place to start, because it isn't as simple as just choosing one course. Go down this route. I loved the journey I took. I'm still on a journey. I am delighted with how in depth I've gone, because every day I'm learning more, because there's so much to learn, especially on the veterinary physio side and the human side, but definitely on the veterinary physio side. I've really found that the human physiotherapy and my sports science background has helped me enormously with regards to the veterinary physiotherapy, and it helps with the depth of clinical reasoning that you can treat patients with. So rather than just doing massage, I know why I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, what type I'm doing it, and my palpatory skills are high, all these kind of things. That's what worked for me. So but to do that took a lot of time, took a lot of resources, and took a lot of drive as well, and organisation. But I'm delighted I did that. So that's the kind of thing that you want to think about when you're choosing your courses. I don't ever say that there's one course that's better than another. There can be, but it is individual dependent as well. And we're in a fantastic age at the moment where there's so much availability out there, you get to choose. And that's what you want. Choose your path. Love to hear from you. Give us a shout, any questions, and check out our blog, which is at the bottom as well. And if you want to know more, we're going to be doing a workshop as well. So sign up to any workshops and we'll let you know when they're coming up. And that's where you get to ask more in-depth questions and we get to chat a bit further. Okay, chat to you soon.